Welcome to Cluedunnit, the podcast where we make wild guesses about fake TV crimes.
And discover real facts about the amazing people who brought the shows to life. I'm Jessica, IMDb maven, and the person who reads everything in a theater program.
And I'm Jacob, writer, producer, and senior lead detective, Logic Cop Investigations.
Whoop, whoop.
Each week, we watch a show and try to immediately guess who done it, without any clues, context, or apparently accuracy.
Then we spoil everything. We not only tell you who did it, but also who made it. All right, let's find out.
Who was right?
Who was wrong?
And who is dead?
This week we are watching... What are we watching, Jacob?
We're watching Monk.
We are watching Monk.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yes.
And a cast of thousands.
Yes.
Not really. I mean, there's 1,000 germs per episode. That's what we learned. But
oh, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Very true. Very true. Did you know that in Germany, the commercial sponsor for the show is a tissue company?
No, I did not.
They enjoy the fact that they are a tissue company and that they sponsor Monk.
Right.
Apparently, it was a big inside joke, except it's not inside.
More tissues.
Yes.
Everyone's just like, and who's having the last laugh now, huh? I'll tell you. In case you don't know what Monk is, Monk was an incredibly successful show on basic cable, but was getting ratings like it would have been on a major network, and even won a couple awards.
The show was originally going to be produced by ABC, and they had another actor in mind for the role. And then when he backed out and the showrunners cast Tony Shalhoub, ABC was like, "Yo, we don't want it." Actually, after it wasn't Tony Shalhoub that they didn't want, it's that they wanted the other actor, and when the other actor backed out, they didn't want the property anymore. So they went to USA, and like
there
you're
you go.
saying,
Became this huge hit.
Yeah, so if you don't know the show, after the unsolved murder of his wife Trudy, by the way, in flashbacks is played by two different actresses.
Oh.
The second actress who plays in the flashbacks is Melora Hardin, who stars in The Office. Well, she doesn't star in The Office, but she's in The Office as Michael Scott's girlfriend, or first girlfriend.
Oh my God, really?
His boss.
That's who Jan
girlfriend.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so after the unsolved murder of his wife Trudy, Adrian Monk develops obsessive-compulsive disorder, which includes his terror of germs and contamination. So, pandemic trigger warning, people.
All over this one.
Yeah.
Does he develop it, or did he have OCD before his wife died, and that just like triggered it into even greater things, or did
this suggests that the death triggered it.
Okay.
His condition costs him his job as a prominent homicide detective in the San Francisco Police Department, but he continues to solve crimes with the help of his assistant and his former boss. I just have to say,
yes,
that
please say.
Prominent homicide detective.
Sure.
Prominent homicide detective. So last night we were getting back into the show, and so we were watching a couple of episodes. Not the one that we're watching tonight, of course, but...
We're not cheaters.
No. And there was this chess player, this world-famous chess player. His wife, the wife of the chess player, comes to Adrian Monk and says, "I want you to solve my murder because my husband says he's going to murder me, and he's going to. I know it's going to happen. So here's a check, solve my murder." And, basically like, avenge me. And they're like, "It's not going to happen. We'll figure it's not going to happen. We'll protect you. We'll protect you, whatever." But it happens. She gets murdered. So this chess player, world famous chess player, because he's a chess player and he knows everybody's moves, he knows that his wife is going to go to Adrian Monk and all the moves that Adrian Monk is going to do. And I am like, who in a city knows their prominent homicide detectives? Like, is that something that we should know as well as like our state representatives and our U.S. senators and things?
Right. Who are the prominent homicide detectives? Who should I go to if I think Jessica is going to murder me?
Yeah.
That is pretty hilarious. Like the gossip columns of what all the hot actors are doing, and then right next to the gossip column with like what all the hot homicide detectives are doing.
Yeah. I should ask my grandma about this. Like if they read the San Francisco papers
in the society papers, yes.
Yeah, if it said, and if you all like, you probably maybe you did know the sheriff. Everybody knows the sheriff and the head of police, right?
Can you imagine? I'm imagining now like that each new police class has like a debutante ball, and it's just like now Presenting Mr. James Smith, Private First Class.
Ooh, ooh.
Accompanying him on his first dance will be his father.
Ooh.
Big things are expected from him. He's wearing Versace for the force tonight. Look at the beading on those white gloves. I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, but that's actually a John Veritas shirt underneath there.
Oh,
Beautiful
very nice.
combination.
Beautiful combination. Very slick, but also very saucy.
Yes.
So yeah, no, okay, maybe there are society pages for the police.
I guess we should look this up at some point. But I do know that this show had 8 Emmys and many other awards.
Right.
But including for Randy Newman's title theme song, which is pretty awesome. It is pretty spot on. It's a jungle out there. I love it. I know you're not a huge fan.
That is exactly it. I'm just not a fan of Randy Newman. I just don't get his appeal.
Your friends who love Randy Newman are...
I know. They're spinning right now. They're like spitting mad. Go ahead, at me. I don't care. There are people who really like Randy Newman, and he just kind of like slides right by me.
I think it's a great song. It's really fun.
People seem to dig it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So this is, according to IMDb, you know how we talk about categorization and bingo?
Yes, please.
Okay, so get out your card. Are you ready?
Hit me.
It is a comedy, crime, drama.
Feels like there should be more comedy, crime, drama.
Agree.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I also love the fact where it's just like, it's a comedy, and it's a drama. Like, there's Emmys in the comedy category, there's Emmys in the drama category. Which one are you going to put it in? It's in both.
Yeah, I guess
and it's crime.
I just don't really see it even as a drama. Do you see it as like it's not a dramedy. It's more like a kamarama.
Kamarama? It's a kamrama?
Yeah.
It's a karma.
Yes.
That's a new term we've just invented for something that's mainly a comedy, but with little bits of drama.
I don't think it's a drama at all, though.
I think this is, I mean, these are the fault lines of TV right now. Like, this is where, like, especially with streamers and everything changing, and it literally used to be, like, if you were half hour, you were comedy, period. If you were an hour, you were a drama, period.
So it premiered in 2002, July 12th, 2002, 125 episodes and 8 seasons on USA. We are watching on Amazon Prime. We are watching season 7, episode 3. And every episode says Mr. Monk does blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Or verb,
sure, yeah,
something.
Mr. Monk does.
So this is Mr. Monk Gets Lotto Fever.
Oh.
Yeah. And the logline is Adrian finds himself short on an assistant when Natalie is hired to replace the local lotto girl after she's murdered.
Murder.
And this episode aired in August of 2008.
Okay.
So we want to watch?
Let's do it. Let's get in there. We'll be back. This might just be the quickest recap we've ever done for an opening sequence.
Yeah.
They get right to it, and there is not a lot to happen here.
It's true.
It's true. So here we go. Time me. I'm going in for the record. The show starts with the Lotto girl announcing the numbers, and she's perky and happy and upbeat, and oh my gosh, she just couldn't be more on cloud 9 to give you these numbers. Smash cut to her racing from the Lotto building. It's night. She's racing from the building. Someone is chasing her. She splashes in a mud puddle. She's running in high heels in her dress, and she's screaming, "Somebody help me, somebody help me." Nobody comes to help her. Some guy is chasing her. He chases her to her car. She gets into the car. She thinks she's made it. He smashes the window of the car. She leaves. She climbs a fence. What happened to like emergency exit bars and things? But no, she climbs a fence to get away from him. It doesn't matter. Somehow he got there first. He finds her. He stabs her. And like the way the camera moves, you don't actually see her die or being stabbed. Then there's actually the title sequence. That is it. That is the teaser. Boom. Right there. Title sequence. But we saw murder, but we didn't have a body, folks. So we're massaging a little bit here, but there wasn't a body. There was a murder. Title sequence. Then we come back into the examination. Monk is looking at the body. Monk thinks that first they say she was stabbed 6 times, and then Monk was like, no, it looks like she was only stabbed 3 times with something with 2 blades, like a pair of scissors. And if there was a crime of passion and the guy came at her, she would have seen the mud right outside the mud puddle right outside the building and not stepped in it. Since she stepped in it, that meant she was being chased from someone inside the building. That's what we know. There you go. Oh, and there's some kind of paint underneath her fingernails, I think, is what they said. So there you go. That's what we've got. I'm not sure how fast that was, but it felt pretty darn fast.
It did.
So that is what we have to go on. All right. You went first last time, so I think I should go first this time here.
Okay, go
for it. Somebody with scissors. I bet first obviously is the copy repair dude. Disgusted of people like leaving their staples in copies, because you know how like you put something on the feeder to go through and like the staples in it, then it gets jammed and it just ruins the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I think she was copying clippings of herself reading the news stories about how attractive she was and how much everybody loves the Lotto girl, and he just got sick of it and just finally just ran at her one day, and she was like, this is it, I've had enough, this is what that is. So we have the copier person on that. Somebody who she was using to fix, the fix was kind of in, maybe she was, I mean, obviously I think that's where we're going on this one somewhere. There have been people who have tried to fix the ping pong ball lottery system.
Wow,
and
really?
Yes, and I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do on this. But I guess so. The big question for me on this is: do we think that her murder had anything to do with winning the lottery? Like, do we think that somebody was trying to rig the lottery, and she was either helping them or hindering them, or had a change of heart or something? I would think that it would almost have to do with the lotto. I mean, otherwise, why not just set it in some other office politicky drama thing on this? So I think the lotto has to be involved in it, I think, somehow. Who else? Well, maybe she nudged somebody out of the position, and they're coming like if she was cutthroat to get this position, maybe that lady's boyfriend is coming after her, but that seems like a stretch and not really about the lottery. I think the most obvious thing is that somebody is trying to game the lottery, because who wouldn't want a nice and easy $15 million, right? So somebody's trying to game the lottery, and I think she had too much integrity. But I think somehow she knew that people were cheating at the lottery, and then she was going to expose them somehow. So now I just have to figure out who that might be. And I'm going to go with, I think, the person who maintains the pinball machines, either painting the numbers on the
You mean the ping pong balls machine? So we did see a ping pong ball machine? Yes, there was definitely like... And did the ball come through a chute?
I don't think we saw how it actually worked, but I do think I saw the fact that there were like balls. It was like one of those ping pong ball things kind of happening. I don't think we actually saw how it happened. I think it's the person behind the ping pong ball machine, and they were figuring out how to rig it. That's what I'm going to stick with. Heard, what have you got?
So they said scissors really fast.
Yes.
And that didn't really look like scissors. I mean, they were long incisions. Like if you took two, you'd have to have a hand on each thing.
Oh, yeah.
Each
because they were so far apart that it wasn't like you wouldn't be.
Yeah, and maybe they were just trying to be theatrical about it, but I just don't understand. Like those stab wounds would be like points, not long. They were like 2 inches long on each. They were paired. Yeah. They were definitely paired. So I mean, I know that they. I know this is a 45-minute
you don't believe them.
show. I don't believe them.
You think there's going to be another weapon's going to come out. Interesting.
And that's why I asked if there was a chute. Because I am going to go with the ping pong machine. The murder weapon is actually the chute.
Oh, like the little the rails that the ping pong ball can go on. Yeah.
And that's why they had sort of a... they were kind of long. They were long, parallel,
but they're also parallel and very evenly spaced. Rail. Yeah, because if someone was really trying to stab somebody, like one, you're not going to get 2 hands because you're trying to hold the person down, so you're not going to get 2 hands. So let's say you like knocked her out and then stabbed her, which I don't know why you would do it that way, but let's say, so point being, you don't need 2 hands. Even if you don't need like 2 hands to 1 hand to hold her down, even if you have 2 hands on the scissors, like keeping them so even all the time would be hard. You're going to be moving it around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And you would really, if you were trying to stab, you would just hold the scissors in one hand. Yeah. And then you would just have 1 point.
Right.
And it would just look like a dagger. The the insertion point would, I think.
Right.
This is me with absolutely no,
it's true.
training.
It's true. She has not actually completed that night course for forensic science.
Yeah, exactly, for forensic science.
She is working. She's getting better with the lockpicks. I don't even have an
associate. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that is the murder weapon. Now, who had it? I did also notice that her dress is blue and white, and it was like this chiffon Greek kind of look to it. And then she had silver shoes. So she did kind of look like a Greek goddess, or and I don't know. And she had her hair curled and it was to one side. I mean, granted, all from this era or whatever, like it's kind of a leftover from Vanna White. Maybe all women whole, kind of had this sort of goddess look. Maybe that was just the look that was really in that year for fancy dresses.
Are you really referencing the Vanna White television special, Aphrodite or Venus? I forget which one it was.
Oh, wait, what?
So Vanna White, at the peak of her fame in the late 80s, would have been the late 80s, did a TV special where she was the goddess of love, and they literally called it Aphrodite or Venus. I forget what it was. Yeah, you keep going on your theory. I'll look this up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got to figure out who did it though, and we haven't met anybody. We've just seen her being run after by one person, and I actually thought there were two people who were running after her.
Okay, now I can absolutely see that there are two people, because the guy crashed into her car and she ran away from him, and then she ran to the fence, the gate in the fence, and she started climbing the fence. And I would have thought that the person following her was literally following her and would have had to have come over the fence as well. But as soon as she got over the fence, there was somebody else right there to intercept her. Yeah. So you're right. Like, there's very possibly two people in this.
Yeah, but they were all wearing black.
Mm-hmm. And they hats did, and face coverings.
They were wearing hats and face coverings as well.
I think the guy who like smashed her car window was definitely wearing a hat.
Or they not only smashed the window, but it seems like they bodily got into the car.
Oh yeah,
and,
stuck
full on went through the passenger
side,
and then were trying to reach for her, and then so that would have taken them for sure a little bit of time to pull their body out of the window to grab her, or, to pull their body out of the window of a car that's they've shattered the. Which, by the way, they shattered the glass on the passenger side window. You've got to have something in your hands that has force. So maybe not the ping pong ball tray, but something else. I mean, more than scissors.
I don't know. Glass, you hit it with a point. I can see that it would shatter. I mean, that's the whole thing. You just get it down to a little point.
It's supposed to shatter, but it's very strong.
It is strong, but it's very weak if you hit it with a very, tiny point on it. That's why those little ball peen hammers can just shatter things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Again,
so
I have also not received my car mechanics degree in the evening either from night school, so who knows? That's a little modern jackass reporting there for you. Jake McCoakley, Modern Jackass, Automotive Edition.
Yeah, Automotive Edition. Crime Fighter, Forensics Edition. So I think there were more than one person. There was more than one person on this job. And she was running for her life. She definitely thought she was going to get murdered or something. And she was, help me, help me, help me. And their car, we think that there's probably going to be some more clues in the car.
Absolutely. Some kind of switcheroo is going to come from the car. Some kind of illumination.
The body was thrown. The person threw themselves into the car. So they have to have left behind some sort of threads or blood,
or for that matter,
cells
some threads or blood. I don't know. This is not CSI, so I don't know that you're going to do any DNA mapping on this.
No.
But they could look at someone and be like, you must have had scratches on your face or your hands if you went through the car window on that. Yeah. So that might happen.
Yeah. So that could be possible. But we have no clues like that. I have no clue. So I'm just going to say...
That's the point of the show. No clues.
And they said scissors, right?
They definitely were. They definitely thought it was scissors.
Who is the person that has scissors in a studio or a theater?
Mm-hmm.
The costumer.
Oh.
So I am going to say that the costumer was out to get her.
The costumer was out to get her because she just wasn't wearing the dresses right?
Yeah. or didn't let her fit them properly.
Or she gained weight.
Oh, yeah.
She gained weight, and that costumer's like, I've had it. I've had it with these actresses and their Twix bars.
Yes. Yeah, like where, fit
This
in.
is a very important, demanding job. I took your measurements 5 years ago. You're the Lotto girl. You are not allowed to eat. You must maintain that figure forever.
Right. That's what you meant. Got it. I don't know if it's that. I bet it does have something to do with the money, though. Like, maybe because they were intimate, because, like, they were not, like, sex intimate, but, like, because, when you're measuring somebody, you're putting dresses on them and fitting them to them. Maybe they thought that they deserve some sort of information, like some of the numbers.
They got some presumed closeness that wasn't actually there, and they felt that, like, they could, and
that maybe they were supposed to get their retirement out of this.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe, a lot of those things are like clothing sponsored by Pierre Cardelis, or I'm making up
Pierre
names.
Cardelis. Oh my God, that is the name of our production company.
Perry Ellis.
Pierre Cardelis.
Pierre Cardin.
Hello, this is Perry Ellis and his French cousin, Pierre Cardelis. Ralph Lauren and his Italian cousin, Raphael Lorenzio.
This is going to turn into a fashion episode, is what's happening.
It already has.
We're making it a fashion episode.
It's a fashion episode.
So I think the costumer is upset that they got her into all these fancy dresses and didn't give any clues as promised, because, they were doing their part to keep her happy and make her look good. So she should, give them a number or give them some clues about tomorrow's numbers or the next numbers. And the scissors, it was so kind of crime of passion. I don't think that this is actually true, though, because there were 3 people and it was clearly a plan because they had outfits and they were ready to go after her. So there was clearly something else, but I couldn't tell you even what that is. So I'm just saying the costumer.
No, I think you're on to something, though, Herd. I don't know that I'm going to change my guess, but I think you're on to something, because from the log line that you said, the second half of this is that what's Monk's assistant's name?
Natalie.
Natalie is going to become the new Lotto girl. So Natalie is going to be put into danger on this. So I think that somebody behind the scenes is clearly going to kind of like nudge Natalie, and like, you know what I mean? Like she's going to be put in danger, and she's going to have to be saved from this.
Oh, interesting.
So
she's going to be played.
Yeah.
Well, but she doesn't.
I don't know that she's going to be played.
Natalie always has everybody else's number.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know that she's going to be played, but I do think that they're going to try and kind of like...
They're going to make her a plant.
Yeah, they're going to make
undercover.
They're going to make her a plant, but I think the bad people are going to try and maneuver around her, manipulate her into doing the thing they want, or come after her when she won't. So, which is why, like, your idea that it's the costumer, I think, is valid, because it has to be somebody who would then interact with her, whether that's like the director of the spot, or the cameraman, or the costumer. So no, I'm still gonna stick. I am still gonna stick with that. Somehow this is a ping pong ball. The ping pong ball mechanic or somebody involved with setting up the machine. I'm gonna stick with that. But I like your costumer thing. I think that has some legs to it.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Are we locking in those guesses?
Yes.
All right.
So you're saying ping pong ball machine.
Ping pong ball machine manipulator. Whether that's.
And you still think the weapon is.
I'm gonna stick with scissors.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with scissors, and say it's the costumer.
Yeah, because I think that's a great leap right there. I'm frankly a little jealous. Jessica Hurd going for 2 in a row. We'll find out.
All right.
This is good news. We have a streak.
Oh,
we have a
wow.
streak.
Do.
We have 2 wins in a row.
You?
No. I mean, you got the win last week with... oh my gosh, what was last week? Last week was not Haven, was it? No, last week was Frankie Drake. You got the win last week with Frankie Drake. And I got the win this week with the Monk.
Woo!
Yay us. Does this mean we're getting better at guessing?
Oh no.
I hope not. I like wild ass guesses. I mean, I like it better when they're right, but it's still, yay us!
Yay!
So yes, I guessed. I didn't come up with a specific crew title, but I did say somebody was behind it. Somebody was rigging the machine. I even said they were painting it, and she was going to expose them. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what it was. It wasn't the guy who was in charge. He was in the same way that all TV shows are like. The same person does the lighting and the sound and apparently makes the ping pong ball machine work for the lotto. So the stagehand was behind it all. We're always behind it all.
There was a magnet on the bottom of the boom mic that was covered up by the foam on the, or whatever you call it, the foam cover, the windscreen foam cover on the boom mic. And it was right over the machine, which the ping pong balls were painted with metallic paint. And so
that was the paint underneath her fingernails they found at the beginning.
Because one had dropped out of the machine as she was walking through the studio on her way out, and then she picked it up and realized.
Well,
and
which
went after her.
To one of the best unintentionally funny shots in the show. So like the model leans over and picks up the ball with the metallic paint on it.
This is in a flashback.
In a flashback when Monk is explaining everything. Yeah. The model leans over, picks it up, looks up, and Billy, the stagehand, pops up from behind. So he's painted metallic paint on these so that the magnet picks them up. He's rigging the lotto ping pong ball machine. But he pops up from behind the ping pong ball machine with this huge pair of scissors in his hand.
Yeah,
gigantic scissors. What does he possibly need the scissors for?
Yeah, right. It still doesn't explain that.
It makes zero sense whatsoever. So it's just like, what? Okay,
yeah,
sure.
They were huge. Like, I don't even think I've seen pinking shears that big. Because usually those are pretty big. But no, these were gigantic.
These were gigantic. They were. If you could test your memory, if you remember the movie Dead Again with Emma Thompson and Kenneth Branagh from the... Oh, golly, is that the 80s even? Might be the 80s. In any event, there was a great big, huge pair of scissors in that. Biggest scissors since Dead Again.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there was one person laughing hilariously because they're big scissors in Dead Again. You get that. All right, though. All right, let me give you the recap and tell us how we got the win.
Do it.
I feel like I want to give... I don't know why. I feel like I want to give a great big Beyonce dance number to this summary. I guess the win is just reverberating in me, and I just want to dance it out. I just want to dance it out.
Oh, okay.
But I won't because it would be lost on you because this is a podcast. So when last we left our intrepid crew, they were examining the dead body of the former Lotto girl, now murder victim 1. And some rookie cop was asking Monk for his autograph, and he was feeling very pleased with himself, and he made Natalie bend over so that he could sign the autograph on Natalie's back. While the Monk is doing that, the sidekicky Disher is like, I need to come up with a zinger. I need to come up with a really good line, something like your number's up or something like that. That's what I'm going to do. Everybody loves a good line. And he's about to say it to the coroner when the coroner comes up to get the body, and the rookie cop steals his line, and Disher gets upset with it, and it's the running joke throughout the whole thing. He just keeps trying to squeeze this joke in there throughout the whole episode. It's a nice little run.
Yeah, well, and it morphs. So don't forget that.
Right. Well, I already have, but it does morph. It's a great little runner. It kind of builds and changes throughout the whole thing.
Well, okay, so it morphs because he's like obsessed about you gotta have a good line, right?
Sure.
And he has this whole monologue about that. So when they're investigating her body, the station manager comes up to Natalie and says, here's the list of people
who worked here.
And by the way, you have a lot of great energy and presence. Have you ever been on film? Have you ever been on screen? On the screen? She's like, oh, no. And he's like, well, you should try it. I am out a Lotto girl now because she's dead over there. Why don't you be my Lotto girl?
Just do it once, yeah.
And there's some kerfuffle because Monk does not want this to happen, and especially doesn't want her stealing his thunder, we find out. But the thing is, when she goes on and she is the Lotto girl, she has to come up with all this pattern because there's no script. And so she comes up with little phrases or little associations with every number that she pulls
33,
out.
So nice they named it twice.
Yeah, that kind of thing. 52, cards in a deck kind of thing. And then she has to figure out what's her sign-off going to be. And she says, you'll thank me later. And
which is Monk's sign
off.
Right.
And so he's upset about his line being stolen, and he complains to Disher and to the captain, and Disher's like, yeah.
Doesn't feel good, does
it?
It's a fun little callback. There's a lot of fun little callbacks and fun little runners throughout this whole show.
Yes. So. Well, the reason why I bring it up.
Yes, please.
Is because Captain Leland Stottlemyre, who
Captain
is
Leland.
played by Tim Levine. Am I saying that correct? Ted Levine. Among the things that he has done on his resume, which are extensive and quite wide-ranging, he was in a movie in 1998 with Ellen Bernstein and Mary McDonnell and a number of other people. Anyway, the movie is called You Can Thank Me Later.
Speaking of movies that come out of nowhere, the Vanna White movie that we were talking about. The Vanna White movie is in fact called The Goddess of Love, and it reads like a mashup between like Pygmalion and Mannequin. And Bachelor Party. At a bachelor party, the bridegroom puts a ring on the finger of a statue of Venus, Vanna White, who comes to life.
Oh my gosh!
TV.
That is crazy.
TV. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
So that was a TV.
It was a made-for-TV movie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But back to this show. Back to this show, Monk. So yes, so she does. Natalie gets hired as the station manager comes out, hires her to be the lotto girl. Monk is a little jealous, upset about this, but she does it and she loves it. She meets the crew when she's doing it. There's a costumer who's putting makeup on her, and then we never really hear from her again.
Yeah, but really more of a makeup person.
More of a makeup person, yes, you're right. More of a makeup person. But again, in the same role that, like, on TV, like, the same guy does lighting and sound and ping pong balls. Like, the same lady who's doing the makeup is also doing costumes. Always and forever. But in that first scene, when the makeup artist and the costumer and the sound guy were all around Natalie, I was like, oh, maybe they will introduce the costumer.
Yeah.
They didn't.
No, there was nothing there. So I was out pretty fast.
Pretty quick. But in any event, Natalie goes on. She has a great time with it. She loves it. People love her, except for Monk. Monk is not happy about it. But the station manager loves it. The phones are going crazy. She's got a lot of fans. They offer her the job full time. And this is what I mean by the show is just kind of cozy. There's not a lot of quick cutting. There's not a lot of snapping back and forth. Like, the show, like, Monk feels bad about this, and it's clear that he feels bad about this and that he's like a little jealous of all the attention that she's getting, and they just linger on him and this moment at the station that he kind of goes to the set and looks around and feels bad. Be like longer than you think they should hold it. They just hold space for all of that in a way that, like, if the show is moving fast, they wouldn't just kind of sit in that moment. Anyways, so yes, Monk is a little upset at the fact that she's having so much a great time of it, but she is loving it. The very next scene, they're walking down the street, and there is her face on the side of a bus. She's becoming a little bit famous. She's a little obsessed by the job. They get stopped by people on the street, and the opposite, like in the previous scene where Monk, like, made her bend over so that he could write his autograph on her back. She does this to him, which again, making him feel as if he's being ignored and he's jealous of all the attention that she's getting. Meanwhile, though, the reason they're on the street is they're walking to a suspect's house. It is Mr. Daya? I forget the gentleman's name. In any event, he is a lottery expert. He's a conspiracy theorist about the lottery. He does number theory and math theory, and he's a huge fan of the show.
His whole apartment is like blue Post-it notes and photographs that he's taken from a distance.
And old lottery tickets taped together, hanging from the ceiling.
Hanging from the ceiling, from every wall. Every wall space is covered.
The set decorator either loved this set or hated it with a passion. He's like, are you kidding me? I have to do all of this? Screw you guys.
Yeah.
But he had fun. They had fun with it. I think so, too. They had fun with it.
Some PAs had a lot of fun.
Yes, but he has a theory and prediction for numbers, but it doesn't work. Doesn't mean anything. He still doesn't win, and he's quickly ruled out as a suspect. That night, at the lotto show, Natalie does a great job. She's wearing this red dress number because now she's a bit of a diva. So she's got this red dress and she does it and she walks off stage and she wants to talk to everybody. She wants to talk to the station manager and then she wants to talk to Billy. Billy is the crew member who's also in charge of sound because she has ideas about how it should go and maybe they should be spending more time with her and her stories. And people are like, no, that's not really how it goes. They're here for the numbers, not just you. But she thinks it's all about her. She nearly trips over some wires and she yells at Billy, and because she yells at Billy, the station manager goes berserk and has Billy fired and immediately escorted out of the studio, security badge taken away, and banned from ever coming back. Natalie feels a little bad about this, but she doesn't stop it from happening. She kind of tries to stop it from happening, just so you know she's a good person, but it still happens, and she's still a little self-obsessed with it. Monk complains in therapy that he's feeling a little jealous about the whole thing, but he's told maybe he should accept it a little bit more, but he can't. The next scene, what you see is Billy, the guy who just got fired, goes to visit Malcolm, our lottery-obsessed numbers man, and hits him with a bat and kills him. Well, he makes it look as if he's jumped from a window, because the next scene is Monk and the captain at Malcolm's apartment looking down at the fact that he looks like it's a suicide. But Monk is like, this couldn't be suicide. Who puts in one contact lens because he finds one contact lens? Who puts in one contact lens before they jump from a building? So he suspects foul play. Meanwhile, though, he needs a wipe because he touched contact lens fluid, and Natalie isn't there to give him a wipe because she's outside signing autographs. They have a big blow up in front of all of her fans, and Monk's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to have to ask you to choose between the lotto and me. And so she quits. She quits Monk and says, I'm going to be full-time lotto girl now. And Monk is a little like, oh my gosh, I did not expect that. Monk is super upset about this, and the next scene, the captain is at the gym, and he's got he's wearing a nice little, one of those elastic sweatbands around his head, and he's about to go play handball or squash or something like that. Anyways.
At the Potrero Men's Club.
Potrero Men's Club, yes. Very nice. Is it the men's club? It wasn't the men's club. It was like the gym club or something like that. I don't think they said men's club. I think that's probably a little too close to stripper for this show.
Oh, okay.
But in any event, he's there and he's telling Monk, you're welcome to come hang out with us at the station tonight. We're working late because we got so much to do on this case. I'm just at the gym right now, so I'll be back and we can talk about it then. So he leaves. When we know throughout the whole episode, he's been talking about how he plays the lottery all the time, $20 a pop, loses money the entire time. Billy, the same sound guy, goes to the captain's gym locker and swaps out a lotto ticket. I thought at first it was because he was taking a winning ticket from the captain and the captain was going to be, this is what it was. But no, he was giving the captain the winning ticket. So that night, as the captain as Monk is over there talking to the captain, they're watching the lotto show and the captain wins and goes crazy happy with the fact that he is now a multimillionaire because it was like a $212 million pot.
Yeah.
And they show him the next day. Oh, another thing, when Billy was at Malcolm's, he knocks Malcolm over the head with a bat, but then he takes a picture off the wall because, of course, Malcolm knows exactly who Billy is because he's just like, I love you, but there weren't any pictures of you on the website, so I had to take a picture of you. And the picture that Billy takes the picture of him off Malcolm's wall, and there's a picture of him with this guy that we've never seen before.
Who's bald and has a very distinct beard.
So the next day, the captain goes to pick up a check, and the guy from the picture with Billy is there also picking up the check, which Monk sees when Natalie comes over because Natalie is now in disgrace because, yes, the captain won last night, but this morning the commission is accusing her and the captain of cheating, and she may go to jail because they were friends and the captain had the winning ticket. So Monk goes to check out the rig. He figures out that the paint is metallic, that there was a magnet in the microphone. The microphone is positioned just over the ping pong ball machine, so the magnet in there was pulling the ping pong balls up, and Billy was behind it all. They go and they arrest Billy at what is meant to be like this Las Vegas pool or something like that. And there you go. The world is back to normal. Natalie is no longer the lotto girl, no longer more famous than Monk. They're both happy being second fiddles to each other, and the day is won. Unfortunately, the captain is still not rich.
No.
But I am now rich in wins.
You are.
I have 2 wins.
Oh.
2 out of 10. I am at the Mendoza line. I'm at the Mendoza line.
Oh, what?
The Mendoza line is a 200 batting average in baseball, which is like supposed to be like if you go below the Mendoza line, you're a really bad hitter. So I'm at the Mendoza line. Well, it's okay. It's not really baseball anyway, so you're fine. All right, but there you go. I'm going to take the point. I'm going to take the point on this one, and I'm not hearing any. Nope, not hearing any objections from the cat crew, so we're good to go. Which means, Jessica, it's time for the IMDb's. You've teased us a little bit with some Broadway song and dance. I'm guessing there's going to be some more of it. Tell us all about it.
So, well, first of all, Tony Shalhoub. Broadway star.
Oh.
Yes. And he got his Broadway debut, not in a musical, but in the female Odd Couple with Rita Moreno and Sally Struthers in 1985.
Fantastic.
And then he had a Tony nomination for Conversations with My Father. And then most recently, he starred in the musical stage adaptation of the film The Band's Visit. He won a Tony Award in 2018 for the Best Actor in a Musical.
Oh, fantastic.
His big breakout role was, of course, Wings.
Oh, yeah.
The TV show. Of course. He was also in Galaxy Quest. Also in Big Night, which was
that was huge. That was huge for him, yeah.
That was everybody's like passion movie. They like lived by that film. And then Men in Black. That was like a whole new generation was in love with him through Men in Black. He was one of the aliens that kept reoffending. And he was in Pixar's Cars, which people would recognize his voice. Obviously not his.
Right, not his
because
face.
He was playing Luigi. He is born in Wisconsin. He went to grad school at Yale School of Drama and worked at ART. And he is in this. And of course, right now, because this show is over, Monk is over, he is in The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, that's right.
Playing the dad.
He is playing the dad in that. He's so good in that.
Oh, he is. He married an actress, Brooke Adams, in 1992, and they've been together. He met her on the set of The Heidi Chronicles, also on Broadway.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
somebody got some love out of The Heidi Chronicles, even if Heidi didn't.
Right. Yeah, that's sad.
I'm sorry.
That's so true. So then the other musical Broadway person in this was the station manager, played by Gregory Jabara, if that's how you pronounce his name, Jbara.
They really set him up to be the heavy in this episode.
They did.
They
were
really leaning on that.
Yeah. He is from Detroit. Went to University of Michigan School of Music and the Musical Theater program to complete his BFA in acting at the Juilliard School.
Wait, he completed it at Juilliard?
He completed it at Juilliard, but he started at UM. He has a Tony Award, an Outer Circle Award, a Drama Desk Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical, originating the role of Jackie Elliott in the Broadway production of Billy Elliot, and he also starred on Broadway as Billy Flynn in the Tony Award-winning revival of Chicago.
Oh, neat. Oh, he would totally make a good Billy Flynn in that. Yeah, no, he'd absolutely.
I heard it when he said something, and I was like, oh my God, that is him. Of course it's him. Yeah, fantastic guy. So the two of them could really...
let's get the all singing, all dancing monk.
Yeah, they could sing for you. I wonder if they ever did do a musical episode. That would be so weird.
That would be very weird, yes.
Yeah. He originated the role of Andre Thibault in the Broadway musical comedy, also of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, starring
neat.
John Lithgow and Norbert Leo Butz, and Sherry Renee Scott, Joanna Gleason, and Sarah Gutflinger. So just to shout out some other folks in that. This
is rapidly turning into an all Broadway episode.
Yeah. Oh, he also, other Broadway musical roles originated by him. Squash Bernstein in Victor Victoria, starring Julie Andrews.
Wow.
And that of the dim-witted catcher Solovic in The Damn Yankees.
Oh,
the revival starring Bebe Neuwirth, Victor Garber, and Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis was in that revival?
I did not realize that either.
Oh, wow. I remember Baby Newirth in that. I don't remember Jerry Lewis. Wow.
I mean, he just has
On and on
Broadway
and on.
credits galore. I mean, he has, of course, also a very long TV resume, but I just thought that was a lot of fun. His Broadway career is amazeballs. Okay, fun tidbit.
Which Jessica lives for.
I am so excited about this. So the sound guy named Billy Logan.
Yes.
Did you recognize him?
No, he had like kind of a familiar face, but no, I didn't recognize him.
That is because his name is Greg Pitts. He came out to LA and went to the Groundlings and then got the attention of a bunch of people and was cast in The Office Space, where he played the smug coworker Drew, who talks about the O-face guy.
Oh, he's the O-face
He's
guy?
the
Oh my god.
O-face guy! Oh my god, he's so famous as the O-face guy. And I distinctly remember,
oh my god, that is perfect.
like, a couple of years sitting on the couch being like, what happened to that guy? What's he up to? Oh, he was in, I mean, he's in like a million little things, but he had one episode of Monk and we saw it and there he was. And I was so like, yay, you got some more TV. And you got to hold these crazy gigantic scissors and like look like a killer. I will say, like, they have a lot of fun on this show. The people who play the murderers, who get to be like the murderer of the week, like Brad Garrett looked like he was having a ball in that episode that we watched last night.
The Brad Garrett episode, he plays a handyman, a house renovator kind of thing. He spends a lot of time tearing down walls in Mr. Monk's house.
Because he's looking for the money.
Looking for some money that was stolen many years ago. So yeah, he's tearing down the scenery, but he's also chewing the scenery.
Oh, he is totally chewing the scenery. That's fantastic. He was. And, you know, let's talk about this for a second. This show, in later years, was recorded at the Renmar Studios on Cahuenga.
Okay.
In Hollywood. And that's seasons 2 through 5. However, the first season, episodes 2 through 13, which the show takes place in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Filmed in Toronto, Canada. Canada! The San Francisco PD station exteriors are the tip-top lofts in Toronto, Canada. And then eventually, if you're in San Francisco, Adrian Monk's apartment exteriors are 999 Broadway on Nob Hill.
But back to this episode. Who else was in this episode?
Also in this episode, I don't know if I have said this before, but I have been binging Grey's Anatomy also. I did not watch it the first time around, so I'm watching it for the first time. Thank you, pandemic. I'm in season 5 right now.
No, I think you're in season 6
Oh,
now.
you're right. I just started season 6 today. And in season, I don't remember which one, Callie, who is the surgeon that deals a lot with broken bones. I can't remember what the term is for that. Sure. But her dad appears in a couple of episodes because she has a trust fund and he's been supporting her all these years. Right. And
she comes out as a lesbian.
She comes out as a lesbian to him, and then he like wants her to move home and quit her job, and she's like, no, I'm an adult, no. And then he's like, well, then I'm disowning you and I'm taking all your money away. And so good luck living, without that, because nobody in the family is ever going to speak to you again. And that it is the guy who is playing the doctor now in season 7 of Monk.
Oh, the psychologist.
Yeah, the psychologist. Sorry. So his name is Hector Elizondo. He is replacing Stanley Kamel, who played Dr. Charles Kroger seasons 1 through 6 for Monk in the spring of 2000, or no, the
spring of that year, whatever year it was.
Spring of that year. Unfortunately, Kamel died of a heart attack in his Hollywood home, and so that spring they had to recast his role, and Mr. Hector Elizondo got the role. And
to be clear, because there's been a lot of roles where people, like the two actresses played Monk's Trudy. Like
this is a new doctor.
This is a new doctor.
And
there was
so
a whole
Monk
episode
is having
about Monk trying to find a new doctor.
Finding a new doctor and then trying to get used to this new doctor. Hector Elizondo was in Pretty Woman, directed by Gary Marshall. He starred with Dan Aykroyd and Michelle Pfeiffer in the PBS Tales from the Hollywood Hills. He was also a dancer. He was a weightlifter.
Weightlifter?
He was scouted by the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Pirates to play. He's a very physically talented person.
Okay.
He was also a congo player and a classical guitarist and singer. Yeah. And a bodybuilder.
He'd be a good guy for a party.
Yeah, that guy would have some stories.
He'd have some stories. He'd be able to play some guitar, do some entertaining, and if anybody got out of hand, he'd be able to muscle them around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't want to not mention Traylor Howard, who plays Natalie. Before she was on Monk, she was on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Oh my God, that's who she is.
Yes!
Okay.
Now
yes. Now I recognize her. Yes.
She was also on Boston Commons.
Yeah, she was very much that. There were a few years in there where she was like the next like pixie sitcom star kind of thing.
Yeah. And she made her TV debut in Lois and Clark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the one lady in this whole cast of dudes.
It's true. It's a kind of a
so
sausage
many
party.
dudes. It really is. But she is great and a delight to watch. All right. In this episode, we cannot forget the person that we love the most in this episode.
Okay, yes.
Is Malcolm Barrett, who plays Malcolm O'Dwyer.
Oh, yes. Malcolm Barrett. Yes, please.
So in this episode, he plays the fan of Lotto. So he writes the Lotto review, and he's, unfortunately, the second body. He gets murdered.
Yes, he gets murdered. He gets hit with the bat and thrown out a window.
Yeah. So he is most famous right now for the show Timeless, where he plays one of the doctors, right? Who goes back in time. Scientist who goes back in time.
Yeah.
And that was a great show. But you and I love him for Better Off Ted.
One of the most criminally underrated shows of all time.
So freaking good.
And he is freaking hilarious in it. He is one half of a nerdy science duo who come up with just the most hilarious products, and he's just so good. He is such a fun, vital, bubbly. He is effervescent.
Yes.
He is effervescent and always he's quick-witted and also at the same time completely naive about what's going on, but also completely energetic. And oh my gosh, he is. Every time I see him, I am delighted.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And so, we gasped when we saw him.
I literally paused. I literally paused and was like, "What is that? Is that the guy?"
Yes. So in Better Off Ted, he plays Lem Hewitt. He was paired with Jonathan Slavin, who plays Phil, the other scientist.
Yes.
And that show also stars.
They are gold. They are
Portia de
comedy
Rossi
gold.
and Jay Harrington. And during the pandemic, they did a reunion
reading,
which we watched.
Yes, we absolutely did. We paid for those tickets.
Yeah, we paid for that. That was great. He's an African-American actor, so he also talked about on that show, I think, how it was important, like, to him to be playing a person of color as a scientist.
Yes.
And just love seeing him again in this.
It was so great.
Yeah, he is hilarious, and I just would
more
watch him in everything.
More work for him, please.
Yes, more work for him, please. Indeed. He was in the movie Dear White People, and he was in OJ the Musical. Those aren't all of his highlights, but just a few. And definitely go back and watch.
Check out Better Off
Ted. So much fun.
So good.
And Timeless is a fun sci-fi.
It was a romp.
Piece.
It was a romp.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was another victorious week. I got a win. I'm back in the lead, Jess.
You are! Woohoo!
Wow, it feels good. It feels good to get a couple wins in a row. I am sure that the next one will kick our butt and we'll go back to guessing completely wrong. But for now I'm just gonna revel in it. We got some champagne in the fridge. I think we're gonna attack it tonight.
Yay!
I think that's what we'll do. And I hope you have a great week. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it.
And now we want to hear from you.
Tell us your guesses, your scores,
your insider info, your favorite logic cop catches,
and your suggestions for what shows we should watch next.
Follow us and join the fun on Twitter at Cluedunnit.
Or on Instagram at Cluedunnit Podcast.
Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts to help get the word out.
Because watching TV is always better with friends. If you are curious the numbers that were in this episode.
Right, yeah, the winning numbers.
If you would like to play them as well. The numbers are 35, 4, 7, 53, 23, 44. And then also 25, 52, 7, 32, 10, 17. And then the numbers that break the whole murder apart.
Right.
Or they
reveal everything.
They reveal everything.
Numbers.
The numbers were 25, 62, 12, 15, 33, and 54.
Well, that's just saucy right there. My
Yes.
goodness. Listen to those saucy numbers. 54. Ugh. My word.